Our current protocol employs a pure front-end to front-end browser network. So eventually, right now, we're using Ethereum's consensus eventually, meaning that while the contract is playing out, it's just simply being propagated in a cryptographically proven manner to maintain the referral graph, and the state is eventually consistent once a conversion occurs. We do have R&D endeavors, which is part of why we need the funds from the TG. This is going to go towards that, to develop something called Fractal Consensus. And this has two parts to it. First part is basically just facilitating a way for browsers around the world to maintain an ad hoc, decentralized, pure front-end network, which plays out a smart contract. For this, we need to maintain a dynamic state between them. And this requires someone to function as a bulletin board where these browsers, when they act on a contract, they can update this bulletin board of their transactions, and then they can drop offline. And then when another browser wants to join the campaign, they have somewhere to read from what's the current state. So for this, just for this maintaining of a bulletin board, we're going to enable a blockchain for 2-key, but it's just basically selling your I/O on your mobile or on your desktop from your browser, and you can earn 2-key for that. So basically, if you're using the web app or the mobile apps of 2-key, you could mark there, I want to become a 2-key node, and that basically means that your application will be, or your mobile phone or your web app will be also listening in to document events happening on campaigns. For sure, firstly, the ones you're participating, and of course others, and then being able to report back to other browsers that are interested to understand what's the current state in these campaigns. So anyone can actually become a 2-key node. It's only selling your I/O, so you can run a full node on a browser or on a mobile phone, and you can earn 2-key just for that. Of course, there are also going to be moderators that function as I/O nodes or as sync state nodes. And they're going to do this in a more, I guess, big manner with clusters of servers, and they'll be able to gain reputation as such and earn 2-keys as such. And with that ability, we're going to develop a fractal consensus mechanism, which basically means that if I am, let's say, a yoga teacher and I'm looking for new students and I'm seeding my campaign with my existing students and they're sharing it onwards, so you can think about it as like trees and sub-trees, or graphs and subgraphs. A lot of times in social contracts, which is what 2-key is dealing with, when people are interacting with people, there's a tree-like effect where it grows. So you don't really need to sync everybody in a campaign to understand the current state. It's enough to sync between, let's say, trees and subtrees, or graphs and subgraphs and subgraphs. And this is the optimization that we're going to employ. We call it a hierarchical temporal clustering mechanism for consensus, which means that throughout time, as a campaign progresses, there are subgraphs that you can actually maintain the consensus just between these players, and it will be enough to overall maintain a dynamic state. So having together these 2-key nodes selling their I/O for 2-keys, which anybody can function as, and this mechanism to optimize the number of players we need to sync in order to maintain a full dynamic synced state for all the campaign, these two factors will allow us to employ a very scalable and dynamic state mechanism for our multi-party state networks.